Hey, what's up guys? It's Cricket 911 here, flying DCS Huey. I'm going to try to give you a few tips and pointers on how to hover a helicopter. Hovering is one of those things that can be fairly daunting at first, but the more you practice, the better you're going to get. That's just the way it is. It's not going to come overnight. It's a little bit too difficult for that, and it's very minute changes. Just remember, the smallest input has the biggest effect. You've got to mentally say, I'm not going to overcorrect, because if you do, you're really going to lose it. Also, hovering, the process to hover can be fun. Give yourself goals, set fun challenges for yourself, such as pick a little box. Maybe you can find a square on the runway somewhere, or you can maybe find a square or a patch of grass or something that's, has a different color, and try to stay in that. Such as this little triangle here on the runway. I'm going to try to stay in this triangle, and I'm going to give you a few tips while we're in a hover. Now this is going to be kind of hard to talk because the microphone setup that I currently have, I've got to reach over and touch my mouse and take my hand off the control, so I'll have to actually hover with my left hand, which is kind of opposite of how my current setup is, so just bear with me. This might not be the prettiest hover while I'm talking, but I'll try to regain it when I'm not speaking. But again, set fun goals and have a good time. It's all about having a good time and learning while you're doing it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to maintain this hover. I'm going to try to keep a piece of the aircraft inside this triangle at all times. And the better you get at it, the more specific of a goal or an object you need to have. Alright, so we have the hover. Now I'm holding my left hand here. We're trying to control my left hand, that's why I'm all over the place. But what I'm doing is I'm picking an object that's a fairly good distance away, and I'm watching that object, and I'm basing my movement off of that object. Right now I'm looking at the air traffic control tower to my left, and I'm basing all of my movements and corrections that I need to make off of the tower. At random intervals, just sit down and figure out where you are. See if you've actually maintained your disc radius, or your objective, maintaining your position inside the triangle. So as you can see, I am still inside the triangle, so I've done good. Alright, now another thing that you can practice on maintaining your hover is called pedal turns. Helicopters have an anti-torque rotor, which counteracts the torque produced by the main rotor. It's spinning one way, the helicopter body wants to rotate the other way. And what we do is we maintain a hover while turning left and right. It's called the yaw axis. And it actually adds a whole nother level of hovering into the whole mix. And it can be fairly difficult. You've got to go slow at first, and you can speed up as time progresses. Now, I am not going to talk throughout this. Just know that I'm watching as I turn, and I'm trying to regain the hover. I'm watching the horizon for up-down motion as well as bank motion. I'm trying to keep the same amount of horizon the entire turn. You're also going to have to kind of, what I do is I scan points, I find a target, I watch it as it passes through. I scan to the left, or if I'm pedal turning to the left, nose left, I find a target object that's farthest on my screen and watch it as it passes. If it gets higher on the dash, I know that my nose is going forward and I can correct that way. It's all about finding a target and referencing the dash of the aircraft towards it to make sure that you're not going forward, back, or banking left or right. Alright, so let's try this out. Hopefully I can stay inside my triangle and give it a good showing. Alright guys, our next drill is going to be kind of a turnaround of point. The objective is to keep our nose facing our object as we orbit around it in a 360-degree circle. Again, sounds kind of weird, but let me show you, and hopefully it should clear up a few things. And then come back into our hover. and come back into a hover. And ideally we'd be able to run those the entire length of the runway, staying having some sort of, or some part of the aircraft over the center line. I did swing a little far out on the right side, but no worries. As long as we kind of keep some sort of piece of the aircraft on the center line and start working closer to keeping the center of the aircraft on the center line, the better we can do like that, then the better flyer you should be.